Okay, last lecture. Hopefully I can go to bed after this, and I'll have, well, no, and then I got to upload everything to YouTube. But anyway, after that. And this, by the way, is a carpet sample that he found and is now destroyed. All right, so last part of the... I'm not going to talk about 82 through 84. Those are very easy. But I do want to say a few words about 73 through 80, which are related to what I just told you about 81. I know it's before 81, but actually doing 81 first is the way to work this out. All right, so remember 81. It gave you a specific example of how inflation happens, and it's talking about basically the worst decade of inflation in U.S. economic history. Well, what about other issues? You know, if inflation is not simply caused by increasing the money supply, as Davidson is arguing that it is not, then what does cause it? Well, 73 says that one cause is diminishing returns. That as the economy expands, some goods and services are going to start to be in short supply. For example, if it's housing, bricks and lumber, that sort of thing are going to be in short supply, their prices are going to go up. It's going to cause inflation. Now, what does he say to do about it? Well, there's nothing you can do. There's no way you can magically create more bricks or lumber in the short run. You might want to make sure that there's more in the long run, but in the short run, don't do anything. And as a matter of fact, and here's a real irony, as a matter of fact, the market system does a really good job of managing situations like that. If we're really short of lumber or bricks, what happens? More people decide to make lumber or bricks. Voila, that's what we wanted. And people who were going to use lumber or bricks substitute away and use something else instead. It's precisely what we want. Here's the great irony. When you look down to study questions numbers, let's see, 77, 79, and 80, what it says is what we actually do in those cases is try to cause a recession. We start raising interest rates. Let me say that again. When we, in the real world, when we face diminishing returns inflation, we try to cause a recession to stop it from happening. Why would we do that? Why would we, A, cause a recession when it's so hard to get to full employment? And B, why would we interfere with something the market system does really well? And I say it's an irony because this whole post-Keynesian stuff so far has been about how it's hard to get to full employment, how investment is unstable, the financial sector is stable. Oh, we're to a part where the market does something really well. But in the real world, we actually interfere with it doing that. We don't let the market substitute away from bricks and lumber. We don't let the market attract new people to producing bricks and lumber. We try to actually stop the expansion. So that's an area where the post-Keynesians strongly disagree with how monetary policy is actually conducted. 74 says that another kind of inflation is caused by when profits go up. When the healthcare industry or better yet, the pharmaceuticals industry decides that, hey, I think we can jack up prices right now and get away with it. And so we do, and that causes inflation. As a matter of fact, you may well know how bad inflation is in healthcare in the United States. We have the highest per capita cost of healthcare of any country on the planet. Good for us, yay! Now, so that's 74. 75 is sort of the flip side of that. What if workers are in a particularly powerful position, which is alliterative, and they are able to ask for higher wages and get away with it? That can also cause inflation. Then the last one, 76, and by the way, these all work the same way. Let me find this again. Any one of these kinds of inflation is going to do the same thing. It's going to raise costs, which is going to cause more loans, which is going to cause more money, and raise prices at the end. So that the money supply and the prices will tend to go up at the same time. All right. Last one is import inflation, which is exactly what the OPEC situation is. That was import inflation. We were importing oil, and he wants me to throw this, what's left of it, and the price of oil went up, caused inflation. And once again, it also causes the money supply to go up for the very reasons you see in question 81. So, question 80. After the failure of President Ford's whip inflation now, which I actually remember that, back in the 70s and 80s, we weren't allowed to put on Christmas lights and stuff because it was using so much energy. And I can remember back then. I was in high school. Well, let's see, I was 12 when the OPEC oil crisis started, but it lasted all the way through about the time when I was about 20, 21, all right? And I can remember, I don't have a clipboard handy, but taking a clipboard out to where we lived in Knoxville and writing down how much energy we were using, because we wanted to keep such close track of how much we were using because it was so expensive, relatively speaking. What a world we lived in. It was almost like being bombed every day or something like that. Okay, it was nothing like that. Number 80 is saying, after the failure of President Ford's whip inflation now. So before, Ford tried to reduce inflation by saying, hey, everyone, let's just stop asking for more money. After and Nixon had a period when he had wage and price controls. After all that failed, the only game left in town was, according to Paul Davidson, restrictive monetary policy, which is what I was saying earlier. That nowadays, to fight inflation, we throw the economy into recession. The, I guess, second worst recession since World War II was caused on purpose by the Federal Reserve. And I think that's a good place to stop. Ooh, but in the last time I videoed this and didn't have the sound on, I got to show you my panther for one of the examples. Isn't that beautiful? And I have here a, I hate to move the guys around, but here's a, let's see, how big is that gun? 50 millimeter? German anti-tank gun? I've got just such great stuff in this room. I wish you could be sitting here with me right now, except you'd have to be listening to the dog bark. So I think that's everything for exam 2. We were pretty much done already, so we didn't really need a lot more to be done. And I will update you via email of what else we're going to do before exam 1. I still have to think through how I'm going to do it. I have a basic idea, but I want to really write you know what I did? To be a good person, I went ahead and wrote the exams like on the first day of spring break, and now I can't use them because we're not going to be in class. Anyway, I suppose there could be worse problems, but I don't know what they would be. So anyway, that's it. I'll shut up now. May the force be with you.